Hello everyone, my name is Khunzi. I'm a writer and a reader of energy. I channel messages of many kinds, including poetry, and I work with energy as it arises. Whether you're new here or not, welcome to Pyramid Energy. There's more information in the description box below. I'm starting this audio before I've got all my information. And I'm sharing this with both excitement and apprehension. This all started with really having on my heart today feelings around stunted creativity, fear, where creativity meets fear, basically these two meeting. And I very much felt the sense of the divine feminine at play here. Feelings of threat, and a negotiation with the mind. And this is, as this negotiation relates to creativity versus fear. I started considering fear, doubt, in terms of one's capabilities, and I realized that this is an ongoing conversation with oneself. This is an ongoing conversation because the voice of doubt continues to visit. And it's the job of the mind and the self training the mind to keep responding to that voice of doubt, to say, I see you, to isolate it and to put it in its place. Because I did say the other day that it plays like a record player. And this is the thing when we go deep diving. Every single time there is a fear. Why is there a fear? There's a fear because deep diving is not like baking. Baking, you get a recipe, you follow it to the T, you set everything up according to the instructions, you put the right ingredients in, with the right quality, you know what you're going to get. Deep diving is not the same. Deep diving, you go in with your tools, you go in with your instructions, but every dive is different. And don't ask me how I know this. I've never been deep diving. I deep dive into myself. I deep dive every time I show up here on Pyramid Energy. And so there I was contemplating these thoughts. Also on the back of the divine masculine coming through in the past days. I revisited the divine masculine reading that I did this morning. I listened and I took notes. And so here I am balancing these aspects because I realize as well that the wisdom from the love reading that I posted before that has a lot to do with what's happening right now. I've just been sitting this morning, lying in bed, contemplating all of this. And then when I realized, okay, deep sea diving is not the same as baking, I decided, you know what you're doing. You've proven it to yourself many times. Go in. The voice of doubt came up and I was like, I see you, you sit down. And my first visualization was a pie chart. This is going to get a bit crazy here. I got a pie chart and it was divided into 6. And I asked myself, well, it was just like the grid of the pie. So, but it took me straight to pi I, in maths. And so I thought, what does 6 pi mean? And so now I'm like, okay, now we're just going now. This is a rabbit hole. 6 pi spits out the number 18.84. So that took me to what happened in 1884. And do you know what happened in 1884? I went into Wikipedia and it's got a whole lot of chronological order of what happened in that year. And so I went to September because that's where we are now. And in September of 1884, between the dates the 23rd of September to the 26th of September, which is the dates that I recorded those 2 videos I just mentioned, there was a gold rush. Now this is where my excitement starts, because I had to trust that deep dive. I had to trust this rabbit hole that I was entering, because I knew I'm finding something in there. I knew there was something. And the thing is that gold panning came up in the Divine Masculine reading. And so here, I'm going to leave the analogy of gold open to you, because I have many feelings around what gold means to me. However, we are currently, collectively, experiencing a gold rush. When I initially got the vision of this pie with the 6 parts, I also saw a wheel in it. Do you see now, looking at this picture that I'm going to put on the screen? This wheel, ignore the fact that it's not just 6 spokes, but do you see how this pie resembles the wheels of what is called the Gold Rush wagon? Now, do you understand my excitement to share this message before I've even expanded fully on this? But I realized that yesterday, I was processing grief. The kind of grief where it's unclear where it comes from. I could just feel I was experiencing grief. That's why I shared what I shared on the community page. But this piece I shared on grief also refers to gold. It says grief is golden. I'm actually just going to read this to you. Grief is a monster, a thief of the night, a capturer of love. Cloaked for success, grief is the original alchemist in disguise. It comes to assist with change. It comes to flip the switch, to show you a new way of living, of seeing life, and of solving for your pain. What you thought was a problem becomes a gateway. Grief is golden. It is also wise, because it knows that you would never let it in if it came with its name all over it. Trust the process. Feel the pain. Feel the transformation. Let it change you. And so without understanding why I'm processing grief, I had no context for this grief other than something within me is changing. And for that change to happen, I need to allow something to die. Even if I don't know what that thing is, it needs to die, because the grief is wiser than me. And right now, I honestly feel like a live reporter sharing something big that's happening. I really do. When I got to Wikipedia, what it actually said is September 23 to 24 at night. So this speaks to darkness. Steamship Arctique runs aground near Cape Virgins, I don't know how to pronounce that, leading to the discovery of nearby placer gold and beginning the Tierra del Fuego gold rush. So when I looked up runs aground, I found that this means if a ship runs aground, it touches the ground in a shallow part of a river, lake, or the sea and gets stuck. And this is exactly how it feels. It feels like one has finally built something, their ship, their craft, and they find themselves sailing. Everything is fine, comfortable in the water, and then stuck with feelings of doubt, grief. All of these feelings that we actually technically know how to navigate, but now we're stuck. And what happens? What happens now that is different to other times? This time, one, there is a heightened sense of these feelings without losing the ability to see our abilities. And so there's this feeling of both of these things happening at the same time. Deeper down the rabbit hole we go. I looked up what Tierra del Fuego means. It says Spanish for land of fire. And so that's where we are. We're in the land of fire. And that's why everything appears to be burning to the ground. But this is also where the gold rush happened. And I'm remembering now that in a previous audio, recent as well, one of the last two, I said, this fire is a natural process, but it's your awareness that will fuel it to do its work more efficiently, rather than have it leave you feeling creatively suffocated at times. Here we are, in the land where everything has burned to the ground. We are not going around using our intuition to figure out which river to stop at to find gold. We are in it. We are surrounded by it. And we are the first to find it. And after this, whatever we do from this moment is going to trigger disruption, unsettlement, population, competition, trade. It's going to change the entire land. The other thing is that in a gold rush, I learned a lot about the gold rush. I don't remember most of it from history, but it's because South Africa, Johannesburg, has quite a rich history when it comes to gold. In fact, many might not know this, if you're not from South Africa, but Johannesburg, we also call it Egoli, which means where there is gold. And the province that we live in, that Johannesburg is in, is called Gauteng, which means where the gold is. And so what happens with a gold rush? You keep going. You don't move. You settle there. You don't know how much you're going to find. You don't know, you need to do it quickly. It's a rush, it's a rush, and more people are coming. So you have to get as much as you can. And now I'm not moving into this whole scramble mentality. My point is more, we are witnessing something very divine, deeply divine. I don't know if you can even emphasize the word divine anymore. This is a divine time. And I'm told to say, and the anointed know exactly what to do. To put this into context for you, in terms of myself, there is not much that I'm selling here in terms of trade. I have my voice, and so I'm going to use my voice. And because this is the time, I'm not going to allow any of these doubts to stifle me. I know how to do this now. I know what I'm doing. I'm just sharing this because this is for you to move forward. This is for you to move forward and to know what's going on. So just do. Be the bee. Do the work. It's already perfect. When the voice of doubt comes, just know that's what you need to do with it. Isolate it, know it, tell it where to sit. When the grief comes, allow the grief to come and take away whatever it needs to take away. Let go of whatever it's taking away. It's teaching you a new way of living. It's teaching you a new way of being. If you're tired, that's fine. Remember that the work revives you. And so I went on to see what else happens as the year 1884 progressed. I found a few amazing things that happened this year, and I'm going to share a few of them with you. I'm also going to share this Wikipedia link with you to just have a look and see what you find. On November 15th, the Berlin Conference, which regulates European colonization and trade in Africa, begins. I'm not going into anything political, anything whether it's good or bad. This is more around expansion, trade, disruption, and I keep wanting to not use this word, but it keeps coming up. Territory. And on November 2nd, Timisoara in Romania is the first town in Europe with streets illuminated by electric light. On December 6th, the Washington Monument is completed in Washington, D.C., becoming the tallest structure in the world at this date. And on December 10th, Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is first published in London. For me, these are all very pivotal moments in time for all of us. And so what I want to say to you is, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. This is confirmation that it's gold. If you are building something, if you are starting something new that's never been done before, if you are saying something that has never been said before, do it. Over the past month, through various readings, some personal, different things, the month of October keeps coming up. The month of October is an important one. And even stuff that I've been listening to, it's been coming up. Very unclear about what it's going to look like. And now that I'm here, I can't tell you that I know how much is there. I can't tell you that it's going to be easy. I'm only going to tell you that it's going to be worth it. You are worth it. You already have it. You already know it. And you're already here in this divine time. And I need to say something else here. It says, in Buenos Aires, the press compared the gold findings to the rushes of Australia and California. In that city, many companies were formed for the purpose of extracting gold. Julio Papa, a mining engineer, was contracted by one of these companies in Buenos Aires. Papa then proceeded to recruit a number of Dalmatians from the many immigrants that lived in Buenos Aires those years. And it goes on to explain how they were exploiting the findings. What made me read this is the reference to Dalmatians. It turns out Dalmatians is a word used for a tribe, I think, of Croatians that would be used to transport the gold, get it where it needed to get to. And so these are people, but the Dalmatians makes me think of the dog and its black and white nature, which takes me to the yin and yang, the masculine and feminine, and the blending of the two. And what this is telling me is that whoever's been on this ascension path, this collective, is about to become highly sought after in terms of this gold rush. Either to get it to where it needs to be, or to take it from where it is, knowing how to find it, to get it from where it is to whoever wants it. And it's like I'm seeing something that I've heard before, again, coming to pass. Because maybe over the last year or two, there have been rumblings about people in the spiritual world on this journey, rising up and almost gaining more recognition, their place in the world and their value. This is it. So yeah, while you've been like simply exploring, you've stumbled on gold, which is going to be sought after. And I think that the only reason that this is important to share is so that you're aware of the value of what you're doing. So that you don't become fooled. I'm laughing because I just thought about fool's gold. I'm going to get back to that. But don't be fooled by those who can see the value of the gold you're sitting on just because you cannot see it. And the popping up of fool's gold says that something else that's of value here is your discernment. It says, fool's gold, a mineral that is found in rocks and looks like gold, but it is not valuable. And so just like in a gold rush, we will see fool's gold moving around. But discernment is key here. And there are certain people that have an eye for gold. Those people are also going to be highly sought after. This is an entire new industry that is about to mark its territory in the world. It's actually a revolution. I'm finding this quite funny, ironic, that, there's this thing where an onlooker might be watching you, sifting around randomly on a riverbed, maybe calling you a fool or seeing you as a fool. But the fool is the one who watches all the mining happening and does none. And that's what sets two people apart, two people at a river or in the water. The one knows they're looking for gold and the other one doesn't. The one knows there's gold, the other one doesn't. That's the only thing that sets these people apart. The discoverer is the one who brings up the gold. Either way, the world is changing right before our eyes. I also couldn't help but notice that the year 2024 marks 140 years since 1884. And obviously I went on a little deep dive on the significance of the number 140, and I found it says 140 is an abundant number and a harmonic divisor number. It is the sum of the squares of the first 7 integers, which makes it a square pyramidal number. It also says it is a telephone directory assistance number in Egypt. Also, a harmonic divisor number is also called an ore number. Ore is a naturally occurring solid material from which a metal or valuable mineral can be extracted profitably. You can't make this stuff up. And I think that's why I said I'm between excitement and apprehension, because I cannot believe my eyes. But I'm believing it. I'm believing my eyes because my eyes have shown me this is it. Oh my goodness. This is it. Oh, I finally found someone. Oh my goodness, that song came up yesterday, straight after a song I listened to that was shared with me. I actually shared it on the community channel. It was the Whitney Houston and CeCe Winans song that I posted with my poem about grief, Count on Me. And so that's a message to say your inner child is here with you because you must enjoy this period. Your creativity is so much needed right now in the world. And also that song, This Is It, I forgot what it's called. Yes, it's called I Finally Found Someone. This for me is divine confirmation that this journey, all these conversations, divine masculine, divine feminine, love, this is confirmation that love songs are so much about coming into unity. And do you know that song was the song for the movie The Mirror Has Two Faces? I needn't say more. And so this audio is my gratitude for both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that we may actually have the opportunity to live this life where we can work with these two aspects of ourselves, to put our all into them, and to finally see, to feel, to experience, to witness the process of a harvest really coming to life. And I'm not going to lie to you, I have felt like many things in my time across my whole spiritual awakening, all of these awakenings. But today, I feel like a journalist, like a live reporter. I am sending you all so much love.